Let's record this. Hello, everyone. So today, as you probably read in your email, we are like a sort of internal session about the handbook. We do have an handbook as a research group, and I'll go through it. But we lost someone again. Oh, we lost Justin. We're losing people by the minute. It's back. Okay. So we'll quickly go through it. I'll try to make it like slightly interactive, but I do invite to go your own pace, your own time through it, because I think it's a valuable resource. So I'll try first of all to share my screen. Okay, so I hope you can see that. So very quickly, the way you can access the handbook is you go through the TeDCog page, you go to the bottom of it, and this is where the handbook is located. So you open it, and there's this nice handbook developed with GitHub. I think it was mostly developed by Dawn and Almog. Almog is not a member anymore, well, not an official one, it's sort of. So let's go very quickly through it. Oh, you can also like download it here in PDF in case it's easier to navigate through it. Here you can make it bigger, you can look for stuff here, you can make it darker, whatever. So very quickly, on the first page, you find like an introduction. So the members, what is our mission? So what do we do, basically? And I think you already know that here in this meeting. The most important current projects, I don't think that all of them are here. There are some further projects on the main TeDCog page, but this is I think Jigsaw is even ended, so maybe we have to remove this, but anyway. And some information about the meetings. Now, again, you probably know this already because you're in this meeting. So this is when meetings are scheduled, the schedule itself. So you can click here and you can see like further in time what's going to happen, and professional development, just to clear a little bit of possible confusion that can be. So we have a weekly meeting. So when we try to invite external people, like talking about stuff that we're interested into, and this is basically the lab meeting on Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So this is technically a lab meeting, but as a matter of fact, this is a professional development because of the things we're going to cover. So professional development are sessions that follow the lab meeting, and they last a little bit, like they're a bit shorter in time, so about 45 minutes, and we talk about stuff that can be useful to newcomers to the lab or third-year students. And you can find the syllabus here, although, well, I'll try to open it, although it's still like a work in progress. This year, most, well, if not all of the professional development sessions will be held like in November, as you can see here. Oh, Freya entered. As you can see here, I'm trying to convince someone like an external guest to fill in probably this spot, and so I have to make a little bit of shifting to talk about career options and stuff like that. We can add further sessions about this, and if there is anything that you feel like it's missing from this, you can send me an email, and I'll try to add a further session. So let's close this. And let's go like, yeah, this is very quickly the expectations. I'm not going through this in detail. This is just to make clear that we want to make like everyone feel at home in terms of inclusivity, diversity. And there's also like a few useful, well, I hope they won't be useful, but useful links about sexual harassment policies and safety. So just to, make nothing happen really, but it's good to have them here. This is what we expect from all the members, and there's, I think, down some point, yeah, I think we also have expectations for members at different career stages, but I think that there's a common core of expectations that we do expect everyone to adhere to in terms of meetings. So please do refuse, decline, or accept meetings when you see an invite. So try to be polite, communicate a lot. We have a Discord channel for that. Some of them are really specific, some are quite generic. So whenever you have some needs, some ideas, please do share those like whenever you feel like. Don't expect like, people to reply, in 5 minutes or so, because, some of us are a bit busier, but we do our best to, reply to everything and help you. Let me see what I've skipped. Yeah, and also notice this can be useful. So I'll spend a few minutes on this. So basically, most of the time, third-year student projects are part of bigger studies. Okay, so we can use those as a pilot study, or we can complement those with other studies, as is the case with I don't know, Anna and Kai. I know them, like been in touch with them. This is why I use them as an example. So what happens is that when this is Christoph. When a piece of research is particularly interesting, we will try to make a publication out of it. And so we do also, I don't know how to say, we include like third-year students as author, even though it's quite rare that they will be first author. There will be second and third. It's quite different for PhD students. We do expect PhD students to be like the first author of their paper. It's also useful for them in terms of career, but with third-year students, quite rare, but they do participate in papers. And if you're interested into that route, so my advice is please keep in touch with us, because what happens is that sometimes this actually happened last year, a few years ago. Sometimes like third-year projects don't reveal much, don't really reveal anything interesting like at that time, the time we run the project. And so we think maybe it's not worth a publication, but then we rerun the study and they do actually reveal something interesting that is worth publishing. The problem is that we oftentimes don't know how to get in touch with the students that was allocated to that project. So it happened because maybe they don't access their university email anymore, or we just don't know how to give it. So if you know, if you're interested in that, please do. Maybe you can leave like a secondary email or something if you know that there's a remote chance that your project will be published at some point. So this is just a word of caution. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay. So this is basic skill that everyone should have. Most of this is very basic. Like even if you're just a student, you should know like how to effectively take notes, how to make Zoom or Teams work. That's not easy. Calendar invites, again, please do accept or decline those. Don't leave me on red because it's awful, like I feel ghosted. Citation searches, references. Maybe I was thinking maybe we should also include something about reference manager at some point in our professional development. Maybe that could be useful. Yeah, and this is probably the most important stuff, like research design. To be honest, I'm not very familiar with what's the syllabus for third-year student. I think you should know what's mentioned here, like correlations, 2x2 design. I expect to, but if anything is not clear, maybe you can ask again in the Discord channel. That's much better than sending emails though. And we can pop out links, like further stuff that can be useful to you. So please do. Yeah, let's make it a little bit more maybe useful, interesting. Now let's go through ethic applications. I'll try to make it a bit, well, let's say interactive. It's not really interactive. I'll try to show you how it works, even if like I do follow a different route than students. So I hope I won't be confusing you. So this is like the section about ethics application. And this is something you will be interested into once you get the study clear. You need ethics application before collecting data. So there's a number of I don't know how to say parts of ethics application you need to clear, and these are listed here. You can also find examples of this if you click on this link. So this is a project we asked application ethics approval in the past. So you will see these 6 documents are the same that you find here, okay? And these are like filled with details. So these were developed by Almog, our former, you see, so this is filled with details. Thing is, in my opinion, this is my opinion. In my opinion, some of these parts are a bit redundant. So if you go through them, you will see that they mostly like talk about the same stuff. So you will find probably is, if you work like me, so in like in putting these together in one simple document, just like this. This is an example I have. I'll show you in a bit more detail of what about all this part, where you can take this from. So I have like all of this is fused in one huge document where you can find, the introduction, the context, the consent. See, like this is the consent. I put it here. The consent is instead in this example is sort of detached. And then there's a questionnaire, and then at the end of it, I have the very end of it. Here you go, the briefing. So this is another part that is required you to upload, and it will be clear while once we go through the ethics application what to do with all this stuff. So let's go through it. This is also not for students. Yeah, I was actually forgetting about it. I think you're advised, if your project is very similar to some other students, so like an example of Anna and Kai, for example, I think you're advised to send out the ethical approval as a group project. This should make things easier. Things are different if you know that your research project is different from anyone else, so you need to complete the ethics approval on your own. I don't think, again, it's I don't know how to say, it's mandatory, so you can also file 2 different approvals. I think it would make just things easier and quicker. Also, quick mention about the SOP. So we have this thing called standard operating procedure that is like a sort of general line of work that we adhere to. And effectively, this consists in a bunch of items that Christoph developed. I think should be here. I think he joined. So if you find yourself using this kind of stuff, I don't know how to move this out. Okay. If you find yourself using these kind of items, there's loads of them, actually. I don't know how many, about political opinions, religion, economic aspects. So this is some sort of archive. So you have the items, the description, where they're from, and they're all part of this SOP, whose code is 12099. And it will be clear in a moment why this is very useful. This is another thing that makes things easier. So I think it will be useful to you to declare that, yeah, you are operating under the SOP of TeDCog. Open science, well, I think we will have a professional development on pre-registration. It's not that, I don't think it's mandatory for you, third-year students. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think it's useful because pre-registration would help you making your study clear, because what you have to do is you have to describe beforehand, before data collection, before everything, like how you're going to perform, what you're going to collect, and why, what study, like are you going to do t-tests and variables and stuff like that. It's actually very easy. Let's see if I have a link ready. Yeah, I should have one at least, yes. So it's just a questionnaire. You fill in the data, there are these questions. You fill it in. Again, nothing to worry about now. We will go through it in November probably. But this is very useful to to have your study out of your mind somewhere, so that you can go back at it. And in theory, it works in order to make things more transparent. This is the point of pre-registration. Open data. Yes, I don't think that is interesting. Oh yeah, backing up data, anonymization. This is why I sent some. I don't think you will be working with original data that you will collect. I'm not sure. I may be wrong. For example, in my case, I shared some data I had with Anna and Kai, and I asked them not to, upload that anywhere because those are tweets, and we don't want to be sued by crazy Elon Musk. So just be careful with that. But yeah, I think you can go through this on your own. I just want to go back to the ethics application. So in order to file an ethics application, you have to go on this system website called Forums, where I think I have a test. So you will go probably here, like create project. Okay. You go there and you create a project. And you will fill this project with details. Now, I sort of went through it already. So you will have like your name, faculty, of course, psychological science. And here probably is where you students are going to say yes. Are your students submitting these ethical applications as part of your degree qualification? Yes. And so once you do that, you're asked to share your supervisor contact, which in this case, I think is Steve, Professor Lewandowski. Yeah, because in my case, I would go no. And so because, well, so you go down, but this is that most of these checklists, this tick box are actually for quite serious stuff. Like you collect, I don't know, tissue or do like things that really require like a thorough ethical approval. And most of this stuff will be no, but I invite you to, of course, read that. Also here, you have to choose the research ethics committee that has to review your application. And I think like you have a student specific ethics committee, which is this one, like the student research ethics committee, because otherwise in my case, if you're a postdoc or a PhD, you should go here, of course, the SREC for psychological science school. So you do this and you go next page. Again, this is like the serious stuff. You're not supposed to do any of the above, but however, for example, there's something that you should be careful because I know that Dawn works with NHS people, so you may be working with patients, I don't know. So in my case, it's usually if you're collecting stuff on misinformation, political opinions, it's none of the above, but do read this stuff. Yeah, also here, I don't think you work with more than 5,000 subjects. I don't know what you have to do with those. You're not working with HIV, so none of them again. Here you just choose a study title, and this is like very, like roughly speaking, the start date. Keep in mind that you shouldn't collect data before receiving the I don't know, the green light, from the ethics committee. So here you just pick a date that you anticipate. Usually they take around, I don't know, a week or so. They should take around a week or so, even less in theory, to give you the good to go. And so you pick a date and then you sort of anticipate the end date of data collection. And this is the SOP I was talking before. So you will be researching under an ethically approved SOP. So if you go yes, okay, there's the SOP of TeDCog, which is our SOP. So once you do this, you specify the name of who's authorized you. Well, you can go Steve Lewandowski. He doesn't know, but he doesn't probably care about this. And here, this is something important. So it tells you that there will be a tick box that you're not required to tick, actually. So this is about collecting data that regards political opinion and stuff like that under GDPR. So I'll show you that in, I think, either the next page or two pages from here. So the next page. Here you're asked to select your method of data collection. I don't know if you do interviews, you pick interviews, usually do surveys, I pick survey, and you're asked to upload the questionnaire itself. So you should already have a sort of draft, probably created with Qualtrics, if you work with Qualtrics, that you upload as Word or PDF. Will the data be anonymous? Well, I think so. Are you collecting data? Now, this, I think I was talking with Deborah the other day. I'm not sure about this. I would say no, because I think this is very similar to the SOP, like authorization. So, because this is something new, it wasn't here once the last time I asked for an approval. So I think you should know, go no, because if you go here, stuff about the GDPR appears. And we are fine with that because we are operating under the SOP. So I would go no. However, I'll try to ask someone that maybe went through an application more recently and ask about that. And I'll paste the answer in on Discord. The demographic data, well, actually, I don't know if you will use that. I never do. But in case, I don't know, I think it's good to say yes, yeah, to store them separately. And then you go next page. Now here, yeah, this is a useful page because you go through this yes and no questions. Of course, you will be collecting data using human research participant, and then it says, this is a bit tricky because it says, confirm that the RDS have reviewed my PIS. The PIS is the participant information sheet. If you go no, if you go yes, nothing appears. But if you go no, okay, this appears. It's a sort of template. My advice, you can copy paste this. Okay, at least the thing about open data, and this is basically the participant information sheet itself. So my advice is you copy that and you put that in your application. So for example, this is my application. I use it as an example, the background, the study procedure, and this is what was in the other page. So I just copy paste this part into and this counts as a PIS, so participant information sheet. Please do interrupt me if I'm going too fast. So after that, you can go next page, and here is where you don't have to take this one. So you don't, even if you are collecting political opinions or philosophical beliefs, if you're operating under the SOP, as you stated before, you don't need to do this. I hope you're not deceiving participants, but you are, basically this shouldn't be taken at all. Like, you don't use it, scan, blah, blah, blah. So none of the above should be fine. But again, go through it carefully. Now, this is where the application asks you for further details. So you should have, very quickly, and there's no need to go into much detail here. So what's the background and aims of the research, the study design, so what you are going to do. Here in participant recruitment, I just put, the platform I'm going to use to recruit participants. I don't know, in my case, it's Prolific. I don't know if students use something else. I think I don't remember the name. You should have another platform. And then here, well, clearly that how informed consent will be obtained. Again, here I just usually write copy paste what I have in my survey. And here, it will ask you to upload the PIS, the recruitment material, the consent form. Now, in theory, all of this could be uploaded separately, as I showed you before, like on the 6 Word document that are in the link. Or what I do, for example, is I upload basically the same file all over again, which is this one, because this contains everything, in my case. And when it says here, supporting information, I just state, hey, I uploaded the same file for everything, for the debriefing, for the consent, for the PIS, because everything is contained there. Like even the questionnaire itself, everything is there. And all my requests were approved, so I guess they worked. Yeah, any other information? Oh, sorry. No, I don't think we need that. And then you just have, this may work differently, I think, depending on if you're a student or if you are creating your own approval for your own research. So I guess if you're a student, you need Steve's signature, but this is the final part. So you just confirm and sign, and it goes into the system, and then you will receive a provisionary email just to state, hey, we received your application and stuff. And then you will actually receive the approval itself, if it is approved straight away. They may ask, sometimes they ask for strange stuff that you haven't put in. So one thing you can do is a completeness check, that it automatically checks if anything is left out. Yeah, okay, this was just an example of many things that are left out. So this is the application itself. I hope it wasn't confusing. It shouldn't be, really. And but you're free also to, if you're a student especially, to invite collaborators to your own application. So you can, I think you should, well, I think the system automatically invites the supervisor into it, but you can invite me as well, for example, or Dawn, or whoever you're working with, just to check everything is okay. So you can share it, and you can view it as a PDF if you need to. And that's basically it. I think I didn't skip anything. Yeah, that's basically it for the ethics approval. So we went through this already. The SOP again. Yeah, open science. Sure. And then I think that's just the last part is just, there's the syllabus, which is the link I showed you already with the things we should go through mostly in November. Letters of recommendation, I don't know, nobody ever asked me for one, so I'm not a good example for that. I guess like most of you will ask probably Steve letters of recommendation, so if that's your case, like you can read through this. Collaborative writing tools, I'm not sure you will need this, because this is something that you will need if you're, of course, writing, for example, a paper with someone, with other collaborators, and you will need some of these. Now, the most basic one is Google Docs, which is free and it's quite easy to access. But as third-year students, I know that some of you really have similar, projects. But I think you're required to do your own dissertation about it. So I don't think it would be useful to share a Google Docs. Maybe you can find a use for that if you need a tool. So this is a quick table to decide which is good, which is better. Yeah, well, this is further links and publications. I think you need that. So yeah, that was it. That was it, really. I think it was quick, half an hour. I'll stop sharing my screen and be happy to take any questions. And if you're a researcher, like, I don't know, Simon, Sandro, Christoph, if I skipped anything or if I said anything like wrong, please correct me all day. So thank you. Thank you, Christoph. Oh, so Luke was saying experimental hours scheme is the platform like for the data collection?
No, for the participant recruitment. Sorry.
Yeah,
like the platform for where you're going to find the participants. And you
okay. And is that the one that works with the tokens and stuff?
Yeah.
I know you had... Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Sorry. No, and I think you have some dedicated either seminar or material on Blackboard, I think, about ethics approval that may be more precise than this. I don't know. I read something somewhere about when they instituted the Students Research Ethics Committee, and I'm sure something was circulated around student Blackboard, but I'm not sure where to find because I don't have access to that.
Just to add, if you're in the process of designing your study before you do your ethics, the one thing to watch that can really catch you out, and I say this from personal experience, is don't accidentally put something in there which is going to deceive participants. Because sometimes you don't really think about the fact that by making a certain statement, you are effectively deceiving your participants. And it can be something which seems quite trivial. But if it can be seen that you have told them something which isn't true, even if you then reveal that not to be the case at the end, strictly speaking, you would then need full ethics approval, which is quite an onerous process. And crucially, for a third-year project, also takes quite a long time to come through. So the best thing to do is to avoid that altogether, I would say. If your project absolutely requires you to deceive people, then make sure you get your application in fairly soon. But if you can avoid it, I would suggest you do that. It's the easiest route.
But Simon, is that true also if I think we went through the checklist, there is a point where you can tick, like, I'm actively deceiving participants. So that counts as, that doesn't really shorten the process.
No, so what happens if you tick that box is it says, oh, great, okay, you're using the wrong process then. What you need to do is so you have to tick none of the above on that page, otherwise it won't let you complete the form.
Okay, I see. Thank you. I don't know if there's any other question or also maybe now that we're here. Oh, look, yes.
This is just a quick question for Simon about the deception. Have we got any news on whether or not ours counts as deception in our study yet or not?
Not yet, no. I know Steve's checking that. I mean, I don't think it will, but the other thing we'll need to check, which we can take offline, is whether we need to, because it's me and you and you're a student and I'm not, we'll need to work out which process we actually have to go through.
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah.
The other thing that I think it's worth saying at this point, while we've got some of the master's students here, is that last year we had not many people turning up to the professional development sessions, which was a real shame because actually they're really, really useful. There's some really basic stuff in there which will really help you with your projects this year, but also your career in academia more generally. Some really valuable information, and they're not very long. So I know on your courses sometimes time is of the essence, and you've got loads and loads of deadlines coming up, and it can be tempting to miss stuff. But I would say if you possibly can, then try and come along to those sessions, because they are really, really useful.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. And I was just to link on that, I was going through actually like this year professional development. I'll try to share my screen again for that. Yeah, because last year was like a bi-weekly appointment, like meeting, and we talk about, again, useful stuff. This year for issues, I think Steve wanted to condense those in November. So this is the like provisional program, and it's very much work in progress. I hope you can see that. So again, as I said before, if you want to add some stuff, and I think I will at some point in time we will add further sessions, because this is a bit underwhelming compared to what we used to do last year. So again, I was in touch with an external researcher, and he's going to give a talk in the next few weeks, and he was willing to meet whoever was interested in his research, and he was also interested in meet a third year student and give them like career-based, for example, tips. So I could like put that here if we don't have any further suggestions. But if you think you need something, just please share whatever you want to talk about, and we'll find someone that can talk about this stuff. And so yeah, because otherwise this go wasted, because sometimes, most of the time, it's just, at least last year we were talking about very interesting stuff like how to write a paper or stuff like that, and it was just us researchers that it's not that we don't need that, we always need that, but maybe people that need that more wasn't present. So yeah, that's just again, I think you will find this in the handbook. It's linked in the handbook, and it's also linked in the professional development invites. You'll find those in November. So if you have any suggestions about things to talk about, or if you want to volunteer as a speaker, please do. I'm more than happy.
I've just actually sent you an email volunteering to do the stress management one.
Thank you very much. I haven't read that yet, but thank you. So yeah, if there aren't any questions, I think we could finish this a bit earlier. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll try to. I think I'll put this on Discord with a private link. Yeah. And if you have any other questions, just please drop a message there. So thank you again, and I'll see you, I think, next week. Next week we'll talk about ProDemInfo, which is one of the main research of this group. I think I'll talk about again, so you will hear my voice again. Sorry. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to having you there. So bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.